Grief has a way of making you think you can disappear, or you do disappear from your own life. You stop dreaming, you stop planning, you stop taking care of yourself. You survive, but you forgot that you're still allowed to live. I know that's what I did. I didn't go on vacation. I stopped exercising. I didn't eat right. Of course, I didn't sleep right. Somewhere along the way, a lot of us begin to believe that wanting more somehow dishonors the people that we've lost. But what if it's not about moving on? What if this huge lesson is about coming back to yourself? So let's talk about this episode in particular. This episode is not about just thinking positive or toxic positivity. I don't know if you've heard of that, but like you've seen people that are just wonderful, life's wonderful and great all the time, and they never have any downs. And that's really not what life's all about. We live in a contrasting life. If you're just 51% more positive than you are negative, you're going to draw that in. It's also not about pretending that grief doesn't hurt. This is really about rebuilding your identity, your nervous system, restoring hope, learning to imagine a future once again. Because my future kind of took a standstill. I didn't have the vision for a future. I didn't even know if I wanted a future. It's also about proving to your brain and your body that life is still safe enough to participate in life. So let's talk about why people stop prioritizing themselves after grief. We've talked about this before, but as a way of your body helping itself, it goes into survival mode. And that leads into this extreme fatigue, nervous system deregulation. You have these fears and this depression, and you can't connect the dots. Memory is bad, depression, loss of identity, feeling guilty around having joy, exhaustion. So when grief hits, your brain shifts to protection mode. You become focused on survival, not expansion. There's the science behind this, such as increase in cortisol. That's the fight or flight where your body packs on weight, and that's why we get these tummies sometimes. Low dopamine, which is one of your happy neurotransmitters in the brain. You experience emotional exhaustion, decision fatigue, grief brain, which I've talked about before. When you stop caring about yourself, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your nervous system is completely overwhelmed. So why is making yourself a priority part of healing? This is where the pivot becomes really powerful. For me, I started going to the gym. I'm lifting weights. I'm walking on the treadmill. I'm getting outside when I can to walk because I'm building those muscles back up. Little things like cleaning my room or decluttering some things that I no longer need or want. Letting go is part of the healing process. Organizing finances. Painting again. I love art, and creativity has been a staple in my healing journey. I still engage in creativity, baking, organizing things, flowers, plants, but I love to oil paint, and I can't tell you until yesterday the last time I picked up my oil paints. And I decided to make myself a priority and start painting again. And it felt so good. Pick one thing. Buy some clothes that make you feel like you. Go to a retreat. I can't stress enough how important that is in energizing your nervous system. You can also join some community events. Make nourishing meals. These things might seem small, but every tiny little message that you send to the brain says, I'm still here, my life still matters, and there is a future worth planning. This is backed by science. Movement and exercise release endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. They help regulate the nervous system. Building muscle increases your strength, agility, confidence, and resilience. So, strength training after grief isn't just physical. It teaches your body, I can carry hard things. Decluttering and organizing reduces overwhelm, creates safety, reduces the mental load. Have you ever been in a space that's cluttered with everything and you just feel like you can't focus on one thing? There is some psychology behind that when you declutter your spaces around you, it actually opens you up to receive the positive energy that your body needs. Sometimes healing just begins with one drawer, one closet, one little corner of your room. Don't make it an overwhelming experience. Start small and you can build. Make these tiny habits. When we talk about creativity, when you are doing something that is creative, it puts your body into a flow state. Have you ever been lost in time where you're doing something that you enjoy and you completely lose all concept of time? Everything is just flowing. That is what flow state is. And when you're doing a creative project, whatever that may be, that gets you into that flow state. It helps with emotional processing, identity rediscovery, and that's important because grief does steal pieces of our identity. Creativity helps us remember who we are. I want to talk for a minute about the law of attraction. I have been listening to some books about this, and Rhonda Byrne is a phenomenal author. She wrote the book The Secret, The Power, so many others, but I highly recommend reading one of those books and seeing what you can take from that. I don't believe manifestation means sitting on the couch and wishing for miracles. Wanting this, wanting that, that's part of it. But manifestation is more than that. It's about believing and making it intentional. Your brain will filter out what it repeatedly sees and believes. So, for example, I am visualizing myself as a healthy, strong, able-bodied person. Now, I'm not just sitting on the couch and visualizing that. I'm taking some action to make that happen. And instead of looking in the mirror and seeing what I don't like about my body, filter out and see what you want to believe and what you really are. Neuroplasticity is, think about these little lines going through, like roads going through your brain. When you take a road over and over and over, it strengthens that road in your brain, right? So if I get up every morning and I practice my gratitude for this healthy body that I'm living in, and I go to the gym and I do that over and over, I am actually strengthening that pathway in my brain. If I visualize myself as a top athlete. That's what athletes do. They will visualize the entire race that they're competing in, and you can see it. If you ever watch divers, when they're at the top of the board, they're visualizing the entire dive before they even take off. This really does help your brain, and our brains are super powerful when it comes to manifestation and helping us with our grief. There's science behind this. Okay, so what are some things that you might be able to do to help increase that neuroplasticity in the brain? One of the things you can do is make some little hearts every day like I do. Or you can paint, or you can color. Or let's say you want to get a new dress for an event, or maybe you just want to get a new dress. Go try on some dresses. See which ones you like. Visualize yourself in the clothes that you want. What if you're thinking about getting a new home? I do this all the time. I love Zillow. I just get on there and I go through a bunch of listings and I pick out the things that I love and the things that I don't love, and I look at homes. I'm researching my dream home. Now, when I wanted a house in Florida, which I do have, by the way, I visualized this. I looked on Zillow. I researched, and I came up with this little house. Thought, no way I can get it, but I visualized it. I dreamed it. Here's the story about that house. It's quite incredible. I thought, what the heck? I'm going to reach out to the realtor and see. The house was listed. I put a bid on the house. He said, well, there's I think he said 14 other bids on this house. And I thought, well, okay, not going to get it. That's okay. No big deal. But then he came back and said, if you can come up with a significant down payment, which I had no idea how I could do that, you can get this house. I did not have that down payment, but I said, yes, I'll come up with that down payment. My sister helped me out. I had some retirement that I cashed in, and I got the down payment, and out of 14 offers on the house, it was mine. One other thing that you can do, maybe you don't want to buy a house, but what if you want to plant some things or make a little garden? Get on Pinterest and make some Pinterest boards about different flowers you want, different crops you want. What if you want to go on vacation? It's a dream of mine to go to Italy. I put it on my vision board. You can go on Pinterest and look at different things in Italy. Buying one thing that reflects your future self, a self in which you are not weighted down with the heavy burden of grief, can help rewire your brain. These are all little baby steps that you can do, and some of them might seem silly, but what they're doing is telling your brain, I believe that there's still something beautiful ahead despite the grief and pain I am experiencing. A lot of people that are grieving don't let themselves experience true desire. You might stop dreaming because dreaming feels dangerous. What if I lose it? What if I fail? What if life hurts me again? I've suffered numerous losses, okay? My dad died in a car accident a week before my senior year of college. My son died. A couple years after that, I lost a very important person that became like an adopted son to us. And then I lost a young lady that I loved dearly. And then after that, my grandson died at the babysitter's. Life will hurt, but if you practice doing little things you can recover at a much greater speed. Grief can tell you something that is very profound. Life is fragile, but it's time to live. So baby steps versus big steps. Baby steps are things that are simple. Make the bed. Drink your water every day. Take a shower. I know the shower was my release. I would just get in the shower and something about the water pouring over me would allow me to release numerous tears. Go for a walk outside if you can. Organize one drawer. Journal every day. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just journal. Buy yourself some flowers. Listen to music. Light a candle. Sign up for one class. Look at inspiration online, but don't get sucked into that doom scrolling. Some bigger steps that you can take, maybe join a gym, attend a retreat for you. Let go of toxic environments. Travel. Start therapy or coaching. Redecorate. Move to a different home. Change careers. At my age, changing careers is scary. But I got to tell you, my last job became quite toxic for me. Not because of the job itself, but there were certain people that were creating a toxic environment. So I resigned. Guess what happened? I found an online job, which is perfect. And before I started that online job, another opportunity presented to me that was even better than I could have ever imagined. Is it scary? Yes. But if you take a leap of faith and trust God or the universe or whatever you choose to believe, those things that you're calling in will come. Build a community. Make sure you start creating again. It's so important. You don't build your life in one giant leap. It gets rebuilt by tiny little decisions that you are making sure you're doing on a daily basis. One of the reasons I created retreats and experiences is because there's something really profound about experiencing the healing that you get in that sacred community. You can reconnect to yourself, to breathe, create, move your body, and feel supported. You can remember that you're still alive beneath the grief. And I have a very special retreat coming up at Unique Wellness in Bellevue, Ohio. It's a day-long immersive retreat where we will be doing some creative projects, have a nourishing lunch, experience nervous system regulation, community, self-reflection, and emotional wellness. I'm partnering with the guys at Unique Wellness, and I have participated in some of the sound baths and some of the movement classes. Phenomenal. So if that's something you're interested in, please leave me a message because I will definitely get you the information. And it is at an introductory price for a very short time. So make sure you take advantage of that. I think it's going to be a wonderful experience and you don't want to miss it. If your soul has been whispering it's time to come back to you, maybe this is your sign to take action and invest in the most important person that you have in your life, which is you. Grief might have changed your life, but it doesn't mean your life is over. You're still allowed to dream. You're still allowed to build, create, Love, travel, grow, dance, paint, lift weights, plant gardens, wear clothes that you love, take the trip. Become the version of yourself that grief awakened. Not because the loss didn't matter, but because you still matter. So until next week, keep creating, keep feeling, and keep coming back to you. I'll be with you on the journey. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, especially if you want to attend the retreat, and share this with a friend that might benefit. Bye.